Welcome to Mike's apartment, where we judge cuisine, alcohol, and have a little bit of comedy along the way. My name is Mike. I'm your host. With me is Tom, my co host. How's it going, Tom?
Not too bad. We also judge people. So,
Extremely.
yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
We
that's
are.
going good. I'm still at my hotel working on getting things set up, so hopefully I can sleep at my new house here in the next couple of days. But trying to relax. Today I just stayed at the hotel, didn't go anywhere because I've been driving around a lot, and I've been having to take the dogs with because if I leave, they like to bark at everything. So,
Well, I
and
am glad to hear you're in a okay spot for today's show because tonight we will be judging famously known as PBR or Pabst Blue Ribbon. And let's
I got
just
the fancier version.
You got the bottles, yes. I got the
Yes.
six. I actually have a six. This is not a 12-ounce can. This is a 16-ounce can
Is it?
for the big boys,
Uh,
for the
I
for
don't
the
know how many
adults.
ounces this
And when
is.
I say big boy, um, yeah, I'll just say yeah. So Pabst Blue Ribbon, um, and then our topic of conversation. We're just gonna go over. It's gonna be Dungeons and Dragons. We're not gonna focus too much on any one part. We might have shows in the future where we do that. We're probably just going to go over like our experiences over the years. I mean, I think Tom and I have had
Hmm.
a nearly 20-year uh, Dungeons and Dragons relationship,
Hmm.
or at least where we were playing it at some point, even up until even
Yeah.
recently. We've kind of switched systems a few times, but I mean, kind
Yeah.
of talk about what we know about. Um,
Hmm.
but maybe just to kick it into high gear, if you don't have, do you got one open? Oh, you got one open.
I got it open.
All
Yes.
right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mm, I already know when I'm rating this. Actually, this is no surprise for me. I love
Yeah.
PBRs, but um,
Well, yeah, I think I know what I'm going to rate that at. It might be good with a little bit of lime, like last week's beer. Or what was it we tasted last week? Oh, that was
Corona.
Corona.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
I think this one's pretty stands on its own. Again, we didn't do a ton of research. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Actually, it came out in 1844. We're talking before the American Civil War. This beer was being drank, so it's quite a. I mean, obviously, I assume the recipe has changed somewhat over the years. Um,
yeah, they stopped putting cocaine in it. Oh wait, no, that was
that's
Coca-Cola.
Coca
Which, by the
Cola.
way,
You
I
also.
have a can of
Oh, you
Coca-Cola
also.
here
Oh,
that's
you also.
unopened.
Oh, well, that's good. Too bad we don't rate little kids' drinks on here. No, I'm just kidding. Uh,
Wait, this is no, this isn't exactly as strong as some
strong.
of the stuff that I've had.
No,
But
no, it's not the
how
strongest,
much
but it is the most.
how
It's
much
like
alcohol
I think
is in it?
it's
12,
5.5.
5. Okay,
I think what you're looking at
but
is 12 ounce. Yeah, this one's 16
mhm.
fluid ounces. I mean, what can I tell you about my experiences with PBR? It's lengthy. I've liked PBR for a very long time. I feel like it is like the working person's beer. It's definitely, if you go and work all day and you come home, a PBR is a nice thing to come home to. Um, I mean, there's other people have different things that they like as
Mhm.
well. I'll just say for me personally, but I'll say this also: they don't just give everyone a blue ribbon, Tom. Only Pabst got the blue ribbon for being more than a century old. They must be doing something
That's
right.
not a participation ribbon.
No, no, they didn't do those in 1844.
They actually had first, second, and third place. Why?
Dang.
Wait, that's what they had when I was a kid. Maybe I'm from 1844. I don't know.
1844. Yeah, yeah. It's just kind of amazing to kind of think about like the history of a beer like that. That is somehow, and they were originally brewed in Milwaukee. They might still have breweries there, but they've changed to San Antonio, Texas, is where their home base is now.
Okay.
I don't know a lot else. I mean, they're just known as like a working person's beer. They're just known as something you can, you know,
Well,
some
I got a 12 pack for like what was it, like $16 or something? It wasn't too expensive, so I guess I can see that.
yeah, I mean, just something easily. accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we might as well. I mean, I don't know how much more we want to wait. Do you want to finish that beer before you judge it,
Uh,
or
no, I mean, I'll finish it, I think, but I can give it a rating right now, I think.
okay? So we'll just say Mike's apartment. We have a rating system. 5. 5 is ambrosia. It's food of the gods. It's the best of the best. 0. 0 is shit of the gods. It's the worst of the worst. All right, Tom. Where are you putting us at to start with?
I think for me, as a person who doesn't typically like beer, I think I'd give it maybe a 3. Give it an
Okay.
average. It's not as good as the, in my opinion. I don't like it as much as I liked the Corona last week, and maybe that was because we had the lime that we added to it. Uh, but yeah, I mean it's drinkable. I mean, I wouldn't mind passing it out at a get together. Maybe when my new neighbors come over, and whatever. They're like, hey, you
Oh,
want a beer?
I'm sure they already have it.
You know, yeah.
Maybe.
So, but no, I mean, yeah, it's all right. It's not terrible. I mean, I think I can finish that without any issues, but it's not like
Food of the gods.
it's not,
It's not
yeah,
ambrosia.
no, it's not. No, I would, if I had a choice of getting something else, I'd probably like for me, if I was getting something else for me, I'd probably get something else. But
Yeah,
but
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I've definitely that there are better like flavor wise beers in my opinion. So you said a 3. God, I'd probably give it 3.5 or 3, maybe 3.75. It's
wow.
not. I'm giving it a little bit higher just because I kind of feel like the flavor grows on you after a while. Like when it
Hmm.
first kind of tastes like your average, run of the mill beer. I don't know. The more I drink PBR, the more I like it, and that's not true for me forever. Not that I have some distinguished, beer palate or something like that, but I will say there are plenty of beers out there that I've thought were average, and they just continued to be average. They've never really whatever. For some reason, PBR just kind of sticks. I can't explain it exactly. It's just like the more I have of it, the more I like it. It's just kind of weird to explain, but
I
I don't
guess
know.
it could be like for me, maybe it could be kind of like how I started to like coffee. I actually started for coffee. My first summer job in high school, I worked for the city crew of the town that I was living in, and we went around and helped keep the city clean and worked on patching holes in the street. And we also managed the cemetery, so I've actually buried 3 bodies and like 2 urns. Um, but anyways, the guy who I went around with typically would stop at Holiday for a coffee break and introduced me to French vanilla cappuccino from those little
Uh,
machines at the Holiday gas station
yeah,
store.
I'm familiar with them.
And then I liked those. And then I there were a few times when I went out with somebody else on the city crew, and they went to a diner, a local diner, owned by a local family, whatever. And so I started drinking coffee, but I would add like cream and sugar to it. And then I eventually, at one point, my parents were separated, and I was staying with my dad for a week or two, and for the summer, and I he didn't have cream and sugar, so I tried it black, and so now I can drink just about any kind of coffee, unless if it has soy milk in it. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I need to have like regular like 2% or whole milk or whatever, and if I'm gonna have milk in it, uh, yeah, but yeah,
now,
no, so
now, do soy
maybe
seeds
beer like
have
this might.
nipples?
What?
Do soy seeds have nipples? Because I want to know how you milk them. I want to know how you get soy milk,
Well,
Tom.
well, I don't know the process, but I know they
We've
have
s-
almond milk, they have coconut milk, which I don't like coconut, with the
I
exception of
ugh,
the,
I'm not
the
sure.
only time I had coconut, I had when I was back in Guatemala, I think I told this. I might have told the story on the show
Now, did you tell
before,
us
but
that, or did what's his face Suze? Wasn't it Usual Suspects, where he's like, I was working
I,
on the coffee farm in Guatemala, where I. You don't remember that movie?
I don't know. What movie was that?
Usual Suspects with Kevin Spacey.
Oh,
It was a
God dang!
1990s. He
I
like
think I've saw.
remember he
I
was
only saw
Kaiser.
that
He was
once.
Kaiser Suse, and he made
No,
up all the. I don't. I think after this amount of time we could talk about it. He made up
I
all the
saw it once.
details. Oh, he made up all the details of his life
Oh,
based on things that were in the office that he was in, and one of them was I
no.
was picking coffee beans in Guatemala. Where,
Yeah.
anyway, sorry. Go on.
But
I apologize. Yeah.
it was towards the end of our stay. We were all burned out, and we were in this little village where the locals didn't even speak Spanish. They spoke the Native American whatever language, Inca or Mayan. I can't remember. But so our translators needed a translator, and that was an interesting conversation when we would talk to people. But anyways, my buddy of mine and I, it was super hot. We're burnt out, and there was this little creek running through the village, and we were just sitting in the creek, just letting just chilling out, trying to keep cool.
Sure.
And this guy came up to us with two halves of coconuts with like a straw in each and a machete in his other hand. And I decided that I would not say no to the local guy with the machete. I would enjoy that coconut water to the best of my ability and drink it all.
Yeah.
And I did, and it was really good. Um, I didn't eat any of the coconut meat or whatever, but it was really good. That coconut water was really good. But but coconut milk, no. I mean, no. Anyways, but we're supposed to be talking about beer and
Uh,
Dungeons and
well,
Dragons.
you know what? I don't know of any nipple producing animal that makes
Oh
beer.
yeah.
I don't know about any of that either. Beer milk.
No, have you seen Star Wars? They have one,
That's
but
oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Well,
no,
sort of.
no, I don't know.
I think
I'm
it is
just kidding.
it is an alcoholic
I,
beverage, I think, but
oh really?
I don't know that it's beer,
I
right?
know they make blue milk
Is it
for
is
the
it
poor.
bantha? Bantha? I don't know.
Bantha? I
Is that
don't know. Bantha poodoo is all I know.
It's all Anakin knows too. All right, all right, all right. So back. Sorry, I'm going. So okay. So Tom says three. Let's just say I say 3.75 just because it grows on me. So there you have it. That's the Mike's apartment rating. Now we will dive into our Dungeons and Dragons experience. I actually played a version before this. This is the second edition player's handbook. Virtually no one plays this anymore. Um, what I will say is actually before this, a friend of mine and we actually had the D&D. It was called the D&D Cyclopedia, and back then they didn't separate race and class. So your class was. Oh wow, we're getting some zoomies over there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's chasing her tail.
Okay,
I figured I'd let you guys do
uh,
that. Sorry. Go on.
good. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah. So back then they didn't have elf was a class. If you were an elf, you're basically like a fighter mage. You were able to fight and you could cast spells. Dwarf was a class, which is weird. Halfling was a class. And then for
Well, it's
advanced,
weird to us now, but yeah,
but
back
back
then
then,
that was
yeah,
normal.
they didn't separate them. Yeah, if you were an elf, you were an elf. That you could cast
Hmm.
magic and fight with a sword and a bow. But anyway, so long story short, second edition. I mean, and I think you said this is the first one you started on. This is
I
where they separated it. And they started to have
think so.
alignment
Mhm.
but and also the
I
alignment was more divided up and stuff too.
my first memory of Dungeons and Dragons was actually a board game, and I don't know if that was first edition or if that or first edition came after that. But I remember I grew up in a very conservative Christian home, and then we had in the '80s we had the Satanic Panic, and my mom was like, "We got to get rid of that game," so
Well,
so
there
we got
was a
rid of it.
movie. It was called Mazes and Monsters, and it starred a
Yeah,
very
with
young Tom Hanks.
yes, I remember
He was
seeing
the
clips of
cleric.
that. I haven't seen it, but he didn't he like think that he was really like a wizard or something like that
Well,
or something.
Well,
Sure.
Tom, it was actually based on the real story. There was someone who became deluded. I think it was somewhere. I think it was Michigan. I could be wrong. There was a university that actually had like these underground like it was like connected to the sewers somehow, and there was
Okay.
this guy who I I think he was wrongly like he was like schizophrenic or he was some kind of mental disorder where he was delusional and he thought he was like literally in like a game and that was in the 80s like the early 80s but the stories of it were terribly off like they were saying that he was killing people or even children. He actually never killed
Mm,
anyone. He just went down in this place, went crazy himself, and then that was the end of it really. But that's where all those
mm.
rumors spawned from, was that story about that one guy in
Oh,
college
really?
who just was down in like these tunnels underneath like it was like some kind of university or something like that, but it was in the
Yeah.
early 80s. But no, yeah, in the early 80s that movie came out too, Mazes and Monsters or Monsters and Mazes,
Mhm.
whatever it was based
I
upon.
think it was Mazes and Monsters, but yeah.
It was supposed to be based on Dungeons and Dragons, but again it was a
Mhm.
story about Tom Hanks going crazy or something, and he thought he was some kind of cleric who worshiped some god, and it was like
Yeah.
completely not like the game at all. That millions upon probably tens or even around the world, like worldwide, there's probably been over 100 million people who have enjoyed any kind of role playing and never
Yeah.
had any problems with it. So Satanic Panic is a false, like it's
Yeah.
just something. What was it? Mad Mothers
Mm.
Against Dungeons and Dragons or something. It
Yeah.
wasn't even drinking and driving. It was Mothers
Well,
Against
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
And they thought
Well, I
you
know
this.
Stranger Things touched on the Satanic Panic, and I think well, mostly I think in the fourth season. The first season kind of started out with them playing Dungeons and Dragons, and but so that kind of was like kind of a through, what do they call it, a through thread or whatever, for the plot for all the seasons. Was
Sure.
D&D was always kind of in the background, but yeah, no. So I played the board game as a kid a little bit until we got rid of it,
Was it
and
was it
then
called Heroes Quest? Maybe could you pick to be? You could be.
I don't know.
Oh God, what were the choices? There was
I
like
thought it was Dungeons
five.
and Dragons. I want to Google it now, but we don't do that on the show.
Yeah, we'll try to avoid that. I
But
played. My grandpa got me Heroes Quest, which was not D&D, but it was similar to it. You had, and it was also one that another friend of ours played. His first character's name was So Zargon was basically
mm,
the DM, sort of, but you were adversarial, so it was a little bit different than a role playing game.
mm.
And actually, anyways, that's a whole other story. But yeah,
So
that's what got me
yeah,
kind of started. Is when my grandpa got me Heroes
yeah.
Quest, and it just kind of evolved from there, I guess.
I might have played one or two first edition games, and then second edition came out, and I think when I moved down to the Twin Cities from up by Brainerd, where I was living, um, I got in with a group of friends, and I think they were running second edition, so I might have played two or three games there, and then third edition came out. Actually, third edition had just come out when I moved down, but they were still, I think, playing second. And so then I got into third edition, and then of course 3.5 came out. Played that for a while, and I played that for the longest time. And then fourth edition came out, and there were some people that in our group that complained about it. So we stayed with 3.5, and then Pathfinder was the same thing. It was 3.5, but they had a few extra things.
Yeah, it was commonly referred to as 3.75 because of how.
Yeah,
And there's actually a second edition now of Pathfinder. I don't know.
is there?
Yeah,
But
so fifth
then we got
edition,
into fifth edition, and that's
and
what we've
now,
mostly played
well, and
lately.
then last fall, 5.5. Otherwise, just D&D fifth edition 2024 came out. That's the
Oh,
latest
really?
edition. Well, that's the one. Yeah, we don't really play. So yeah, so kind of the same thing as you. So I played D&D that we used the D&D Cyclopedia initially, and I must have been 11, 10 or 11. We played on the bus. I don't remember exactly. And then I played a few times, but then yeah, we got into second edition throughout my teens. Some of the people that we game with now, those were actually not some of them. All of those people, all of those people from back then were ones we played second edition with. Third edition came out, and I think it was actually in the year 2000, and then
Yeah, it was late 90s
3.5.
or 2000. Yeah.
Yeah, and 3.5 came out just a few years. They didn't. It didn't take them very long to come out with another set of books. But yeah, we played 3.5. We played the crap out of 3.5 for years. Pretty much.
Mm,
I mean, I probably, God, 20 some campaigns minimum.
mm,
And don't get me wrong. Some of those campaigns only lasted a few games, but we had a number of them. What the longest campaign I was ever in. Um, um, the people that we play with now were not involved in that game, but
mm.
we did what, God, 6 or 7 years as the same characters. So that was a pretty good haul for us. That was a pretty good game. So that, yeah, we what did we call it? We called it Corto, believe it or not. Just
Oh yeah,
K
the
O
one where
R
we kind of rotated the
DMs.
dungeon
Yeah.
masters, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the same. Yeah, you're supposed to have the same player characters the whole time. Yeah, the initial crew from that, it was
Unless
like
they died. But
I don't think anyone actually died. Well, there's this guy named Ken. I don't know if you've ever met him or not. His character died, I guess. But anyways, long story short, yeah, that was probably the longest one. Fourth edition. Now, why did I actually did play? So believe it or not, so back when I was married, my father-in-law had a group, a D&D group. They played fourth
okay.
edition. Here are the biggest issues. They basically, like WoW, World of Warcraft and other MMOs at the time were like super popular. They basically tried to turn a role playing game. Well, they tried to take MMO qualities and inject them into a role playing game. And that's why so
Mm,
many people hated 4th edition. Because 4th
really?
edition was basically just an MMO, but with dice. It was not fun. There was no real, I don't know. I mean, I played a few games with the former father-in-law and his group. I just could not get into it. I mean, I was trying. I really was trying. I even had my ex-wife at the time berating me, saying, "Oh, you should hang out with my dad. It's so cool when you guys. He likes when you hang out with him." Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, "Yeah, I like that part, but the part I hate, it's playing the game because it's so freaking stupid." So I think fourth edition was a big turning
Mm,
point for Wizards of the Coast when they realized they couldn't just turn D&D into an MMO, but then also like you mentioned, they were battling with Pathfinder at the time because what they had was the OGL, the Open Gaming
mm,
License. So technically, Wizards of the Coast couldn't stop the makers of Pathfinder from releasing products because of the OGL. Like they couldn't stop them, and it was
mm,
competing heavily,
mm.
and there are a lot of people talk about that still. But yeah, fifth edition came out. What was it, like 2014 or 15?
Was it
It was
14? Really?
something.
Has it been
Something.
that long
It was
ago?
something like
10 years ago or so?
fifth edition. Let's see here. I happen to have the fifth edition book here, and while we can't Google, we can look in a book. Let's see here. When did it come out? 2000. Yep, August 2014. I was right.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Holy
first
shit.
printing. Yeah, the
They
first
haven't
print.
come out with a new edition except for, well, 5.5 now, like 9 years late, 10 years later.
Yeah. So yeah. That's when it came out. I did play fifth edition at first a little bit with. I don't know. I wasn't super into it, but then once everyone else in our friend group got into it, I sort of got into it. And I will admit,
Mm,
fifth edition definitely fixed a lot of issues that were in fourth edition and actually made the game better overall, I would say. I have not actually played the 5.5, like the 2024. I have not played that at all, just because we have so many other gaming stuff going on
so,
that I
yeah.
can't. I mean, it's just too much. I don't really. And the thing is this: I don't really have a good group for that, anyways. And
Yeah.
our group doesn't. And I admit that there is valid reasons
Yeah.
why, but we're kind of anti D&D at
Well,
least at the moment. But
what the one of the bigger complaints in our group, at least with two people, uh, were have been vocal about it. There's like 4 or 5 of us, and two of the people have been pretty vocal about how long combat can take done
Oh
in like
yeah,
fifth edition, and they just get bored, while they're waiting for their druid and his retinue of like summoned creatures to finish whatever, or whatever,
sure.
or a spellcaster to figure out what they're going to do. But excuse me, for me, somebody who doesn't really have a lot of time to sit and look through and understand the rules, and I sometimes like the mechanics and stuff, or when I read them, just kind of go over my head until we play through a few times, whatever. But with fifth edition, they also had that website Dungeon or D&D Beyond, which kind of you can go through. You don't even have to really know what you're doing. It walks you through creating your character, and then you have a character sheet with all your stuff on it. And if you want to know what if you want to know what a skill does or what a spell does, you just click on it and you get a description of what it does, how it works, how long it lasts, or whatever, that kind of thing. So it also you can also track, like if you're in combat and you take damage, you can track the damage and stuff like that, and you can even roll your dice on it if you don't have dice. But our group, everybody has dice, and we like to roll them. I think one thing I liked about a couple spells in like Dungeons and Dragons, maybe this is more in like third edition, was when you would get up higher level and you had like a handful of dice and you just going and you just drop them. It's
I'm like,
like
let me count now. Yeah, it's like ridiculous. Um,
but
I'll say yeah. There are a couple. So I will speak to that. I actually have. So here's the pros and cons of it. You're right. I actually do have a Beyond D&D subscription. I pay $5 a month or whatever it
mm,
is to have my thing. I also have the Curse of Strahd. So it doesn't just do characters for you. You can actually, if you buy the game, like the PDF version of the game, it has everything. You can go chapter by chapter for a DM who, especially a
mhm,
DM that doesn't have like a lot of time. It's invaluable because you just click on it, gives you the description. Problems. I think I think when you lack a fundamental understanding of the system, sometimes even with everything being given to you, it can go wrong. And
mhm,
I'll give you an example. Your character in the last game and their attributes. If you remember,
mhm.
your
Oh
guy didn't
yeah.
have less because we were playing a homebrewed, like it wasn't homebrewed, it was Eberron was the setting, but it was a homebrewed, like you took your character from before, it just added everything on top of itself, so
Yeah,
he didn't
well,
have a stat under 17, which is kind of like
what
uh
I think happened with that was, so when we started the game, I they didn't I was playing what they call a warforged. It's like a construct,
yep,
like a golem or whatever, that was built for battle, but they made it a playable character
yep,
race. And so, but I didn't have Warforged in the D&D Beyond setting because I didn't have. There's like a book you could buy,
the Eberron, yeah,
PDF.
races of Eberron or
So
something, yeah,
so when we had played the game, and then we took a break and played some other games, and then the dungeon master was said, okay, I got another part ready for it, and so we went back to that, and I had then purchased that book, and I recreated my character, but I think I messed up with some of the stats because I don't just the adding
yeah.
that race to it, I think kind of messed things up.
Trust
So
me
I
when I
needed.
say there's no blaming. Yeah, I don't think you were cheating by any. You're like the last person probably in our entire group to cheat that I would think. However, one thing I did was because I thought, not that I thought someone else was cheating, but I just thought that it was very strange how high their attributes were. A different person, not you, not me. And I actually, we so what I did was I took the total of everyone's attributes and laid them out. My character actually had the lowest. I had out of all the people in the party, if you added up all my attributes and we added up, it was the lowest out of everyone. But I was surprised to see that yours was the high. Honestly, I was very surprised. And then when I looked at it, I was like, he doesn't have anything under. It was either like a 16 or a 17. I'm like, you don't have a single stat under
Really, I did.
16.
I,
It was something like
I,
that. Crazy. It was something.
actually, I think I pull that character up right now and we could look at it. But
It was.
uh,
Yeah. No, you had the high out of every, and I was surprised because there was one other person, and I think you know who I'm talking about. There's one other person in our group. I was sure had the highest of the high, and I was wrong. I was like, Thom has the highest stats in our entire group. Like this is impossible.
yeah, you're talking about Celine was cheating, right? Celine? No,
Dion,
I'm not
yeah.
making names. Yeah,
Celine Dion, yeah. No,
yeah, yeah.
no, no. It was just, and again, I don't even think necessarily that person was cheating. It was just like the stats were just like what, what.
Yeah. Well, you got it when you're converting characters. You really got to pay attention to things,
So
especially when it's all
yeah,
like on. If you're doing it manually, maybe it's easier to not make a mistake like that. But
yeah,
yeah. Anyways,
yeah. Anyways, that's just what I'm saying is that, yeah, Beyond. Yeah, D&D Beyond can be a good product. And again, I pay for it every month. So obviously, and I could have easily canceled my subscription by now. I still find it somewhat handy, and you do get a lot of resources just for the $5 a month. But also, well, here's the problem though. Like a lot of people have, and I kind of agree with. I feel that if you buy the physical product, if you buy this PH, I think
player's
the
handbook.
yep, you buy this book. I think you should get a discounted rate on the digital form of it. You know what I mean? Like, why do you have to buy things twice? And I'm not the only person who feels like that. There's lots of people who they feel like I've already paid for the physical stuff. Can't I at least get a
Yeah.
discount on the
Maybe they could put like
digital?
a QR code in the book and then
Yeah,
have it added to your account.
exactly, exactly. And I'm not saying it necessarily has to be completely free, but don't make people pay twice for the same product. I mean, that seems obnoxious. And that's another reason why we sort of stopped, with them is kind of just the price base, which is nobody wants to sit there and pay a bunch of money for a bunch of things that we're not going to may or may not be using,
Mhm.
you know. But that's a whole
But
different story.
I think though for me, like out of all the different systems that we've played, the only reason I maybe prefer the D&D system is because I have more experience with it and understand it better. With uh, what's GURPS? What is that? That's
Generic universal role playing system.
like with
Generic,
that
yeah. I
one,
love
or what
GURPS
was
stuff.
the other one that we just ran in that or that you're running right now?
Rollmaster Unified.
Rollmaster. It's there. It's a to me in my for me, it's a lot more complicated than like say D&D because I just understand that system a little better because I've had more experience with it probably.
I've probably
So
only spent maybe 5 years more playing D&D than I have. Oh, and we Rollmaster might be a completely different topic for us, but I've
yeah.
actually played the crap out of Rollmaster. I've also had, God,
um
at least 10 long-term campaigns that I
yeah.
did Rollmaster.
Well,
However, it's
and
very
I
hard to
think
get people into it, though. It's very difficult to get people into it, but once they're in it, almost all the time they prefer it because
you can customize things a little or be more specific,
yeah,
right?
and
About how things work or
and
whatever.
not only that, it's God, how do I explain Rollmaster? People argue about like Chartmaster, but I will say this: so here's like the difference between learning the rules in D&D and in Rollmaster. Rollmaster has a slightly higher learning curve, but once you have it, you know because every rule works the same. You know it all. D&D, it's easier to get into. It's a lower, entry level for knowledge, but they tack
Mhm.
on so many things that it's actually in the end, I would say it's actually more complicated than Rollmaster because you have to know how all these different systems work together, and then when they add things, they just tack
Mhm.
on more and more systems and more details. And it's like with Rollmaster, you learn it all once. It's a little bit more, but you get it all at the same time. D&D, it's oh, well, now you got to learn about this character and that character and
Yeah.
this. And then we have people doing homebrew. Well, oh my God.
Yeah.
I will, you know what?
Which, by the way, let's
Can't,
explain homebrew because maybe not everybody watching knows what homebrew means.
Homebrew is how cheaters get their homebrew is how cheaters get their characters into a game where there otherwise there'd be okay, we have this dude, no offense to him, he's a very bright guy, very smart guy, but his
And very
love of
generous.
well, yeah, but his homebrew characters are, I mean, through the like for example, one of the most celebrated character a bit. So he was he made a like a class slash race, and basically it looks to, this is what it looked like to me. He took the very best features of monk, rogue, and ranger, gave himself all of that, and then on top of it, one of the best abilities in the entire game. The ranger has a subclass called the Gloomstalker, and basically it's the anti dark vision ability, which lets you just you are invisible to them, which means two things: you have advantage against them, and they have disadvantage against you. One of them
Hmm.
arguably, and here's the thing: you might think, oh, it's only if they have dark vision. Well, here's the deal: like 70% of the monsters in the Moman have dark vision.
Moman
Okay,
being Monster
like the
Manual.
monster manual. So most of the monsters in the game will
Hmm.
suffer from having you will have advantage against
Yeah.
them and they will have disadvantage against you. He just in his homebrew without almost like thoughtlessly just like gifted himself this ability, and it's called, I
So
think it's called
yeah,
Umbral Sight. It's called Umbral Sight,
yeah.
and it's arguably the most one of the most powerful abilities in the game. And he's just piecing together his homebrew, throws that on top of himself. I'm the only one, I'm the only one who noticed and says anything, and they make me to be the crazy person. I'm not crazy.
So
Anyone who gives himself
yeah.
umbral sight with no second thought to it is crazy because they have not looked in the monster manual to realize that that's it is super powerful. It's like one of the most powerful abilities in the game.
Yeah.
Also, there's no concentration, there's no magic, there's no, you know what I mean? It just happens.
It's just a passive ability.
You are
So
basically invisible to
so
everything with dark vision. I mean,
so
it's
so real quick,
sure.
we've been talking about homebrew, but we haven't explained what it is. So basically, homebrew is you just take and create like a race or a class or whatever, or maybe you can do
Or
the same
anything
thing with
really,
spells.
yeah.
You can craft your own spells. But yeah, that's what homebrew is.
As if you're
It
brewing it at home
Yeah,
instead of letting a
like
corporation
toilet
like
wine in the jail.
yeah, exactly. It's home toilet brew. I've never had it, Tom,
That's
but I'm
shit of the
hoping you'll.
gods.
Well, Tom, if I ever end up in prison, I hope you'll be my cellmate because we'll make the
No,
best wine ever.
I'll make sure you get some of
Oh,
these.
you'll get some of those. Okay, you'll send those to me. I'm not sure what I'll go
Yeah,
to. I'm not sure what I'd go to prison for, but
check your cake. if,
bad
if
reviews.
you see a cake that's roughly like this tall, maybe a little taller and
That's my
wider,
little hacksaw. I'm gonna use to cut the bars.
no, it's the fucking wine.
Oh, what? I thought you'd send me at least a tool
I'm
to
not.
get out.
I'm not gonna. Well, I mean, I'll have to work on that. But first,
Isn't that
I want
in
to
the
make sure you're
movies?
comfortable and not drinking toilet wine
I don't know
because
how.
they're not going to let me. I don't think I'll be able to get this into
Hey,
you. So
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd be very comfortable in prison. Because I clench down. I mean, sorry about that little prison humor. Sorry for anyone who actually went to prison. My bad. I can only assume. Sorry, I've never been to jail or anything yet.
yeah,
Well, when they start saying that giving bad reviews is a crime, we'll both be in prison. So
well, it's like a lot of review channels. It seems like uh, well, I watched this. I'm a Doctor Who fan, a Whovian, I think is what they call them. But there's this channel called Who Culture that I sometimes watch, and I remember there were a couple videos that I watched where they commented. They're like, "Hey, look, if you disagree with us, that's fine. You can comment or whatever, but stop with the hate. You don't have to be like pissed off because we liked or didn't like something that you disagree with. So,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll definitely have some people who disagree with us, but we're pretty open, to people. I mean, yeah, don't.
on this episode, I might be the one getting the hate for giving this a 3.
Yeah, I know. This is America's beer right here, Tom. If you don't like
Hey,
this,
look,
you're against America.
I just finished it.
You finished your
So,
first PBR ever. How does it feel? You're an American now, Tom.
I know I got this. I don't know. The aftertaste is kind of, I don't know,
You don't like
something
it?
to get used to. But
Excuse me.
I'll open another.
All right, well, back to D&D a little bit more. Okay, so we covered homebrew and how easy it is. Well, it's easily abused. So I would say if you're ever going to introduce
Well,
homebrew into your
yeah.
game, make sure all the players, and not just the DM, but all the players are on board with it, because they might see something
Mm,
that you don't, and gifting yourself like a combination of the most powerful abilities in the game is seems more like what we would call OP, overpowered,
mm,
or character optimization. Like bring, there has to be some balance. Like you can't just
mm.
take.
And the other player characters might feel a little cheated if
Oh yeah,
they're playing a base class and they don't have all the advantages that the homebrew does.
I mean I wasn't even
But
allowed to. I believe in our last D&D game, I had to go from I was a paladin sorcerer, so basically I was using like a divine smite type character, because I could burn up my
yeah,
sorcerer levels to use it as
oh,
well.
excuse me.
But I don't know if it was exact. I wasn't frowned upon necessarily, especially with what else was going on in the game. But I was just like, you know what? Every other character is more of a melee type character, so I switched my character to just a sorcerer. So no more weapons and armor. But
Yeah, I was playing a monk warforged, which that was a
pretty
lot
good.
of fun. I
Yeah,
liked it,
it looked like it. Yeah, it looked like you were having fun with it. And then what else we
especially when I was
had?
drunk. And did I fight? Did I end up in one game like when I was drunk fighting the other character that we were just talking about, that the homebrew guy?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, at the end of the game, he joined. Not just him, but the other. We had our main end guy boss that he joined. So he joined the evil guy, and then we were like left alone with those two. But they were.
Mm,
No, we had one NPC with us. I think. I don't remember, but I was whooping ass. There was. Oh, it wasn't just him. So there was like the guy. God, it's a hard story. Here's like the problem with Eberron that I think like our DM brought up. It's like there are a lot of globally like spanning organizations, like political or social
mm,
organizations on the world. All of them want to take over the world. Like there's no other agenda. Like if you go like we were fighting, and this is common in Eberron, we were fighting the Dreaming Dark, and with their goal is to take over the world. But like if you look at like any of the other like organizations in the game, they all just want to take over the world. Everyone is just trying to take over. It was a really fun game, and still, and and we're gonna actually. So here's the thing about D&D. We are gonna switch to another system. I believe we're going to what's called Suede, which is
mm.
Savage Worlds. It's
Oh,
another
okay.
system. I think we are gonna when we get our dude back. So our friend who's running that game is taking a hiatus. I think he went on like a family vacation and he was doing some other things while we do this Rollmaster game. But I think he is coming back. And when we finish um, that campaign, it's not going to be in Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to be in Suede.
Mm.
Savage Worlds
Which
Adventures
I've never
something.
played, so that'll be.
I've played it, I think,
It's.
only once, to be honest with you, and I think it was at a
Would you
convention.
compare it to any system that we've played, or
Maybe closer to GURPS. I don't know exactly. I mean, it's
okay?
Savage Worlds is kind of, you
I
know,
think I've maybe played in one or two GURPS games in my life.
yeah. I'm not super
It was
familiar.
ages ago.
I'm not super familiar with this system, to be honest. But yeah, it's more of a. I don't know. And the thing is, too, we have all the books and everything, so it's not, you know, we have what we need to play. But yeah. Anyways, no. Dungeons and Dragons. Great experiences, lifetime friends. You know, some people have stayed with me. Some people have gone their own way. But we've all sort of, been united with Dungeons and Dragons. I mean,
Yeah. Well, and now we have Baldur's Gate 3, which is based off of 5th edition.
yep.
So, and you and I and some of our friends have really enjoyed playing that game.
I've only beaten it
Uh,
once, but
I've beaten it. Well, the first time I beat it, I was kind of stuck on the last battle, so I blew up the wizard Gale. and
that's not
and
winning.
so, but
I've
then
done
we
that
had
too.
like the cutscenes of like oh, they made statues in our honor and all that, whatever. And I have another game that I was playing that I had gotten stuck on. It was like I think it was the second game that I played, and the first one I don't remember what happened with the first one, but I quit early. The second one I made a new character and then got stuck at the end of Act 2, I think, where you fight the god of death or whatever.
Yeah,
The I can't think of the name now, but
I can't
all I
either.
can think of is oh, Merkel. Merkel was the name of the god,
Yeah, there was
and
the three people who were all evil, and yeah, you kill the
mm,
what was it? Yeah, he was the undead elf guy. And yeah, you kill him in at the end of the second act,
yeah, I'm
and then you
trying to
go
think
on
of
and
his
you have to
name now,
kill, and
but
then you got to kill that lady of murder or slaughter or whatever she was, and then the guy of
yeah,
political intrigue, the political
mm,
guy. Yeah, that's the third act. Yeah, so I beat it both.
so
You can beat it with just blowing up Gale, but actually my ending, what it read to me was it does not feel fulfilling. It's basically saying this is a cop out victory, is what I remember it being. So, but I did try it. I did blow up Gale right when we were right next to them, and technically won the game. But they said something about like all of the mind flayer people started wandering around and they murdered everyone around them, so it wasn't very much of a
oh really?
victory. But then yeah, no, I went through. I played a bard. So here was my thing, and I fully admit this. There's a point in the game where the DC is a 99 to roll,
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
and I save scummed. I went until I got a 20. Literally I went save scum, which
Really?
is where you go back and forth between loading and saving the game to get the result you want to get. Well, yeah, I wanted to see what happened with a 20. I wanted to see what happened. I guess it's not
So
that
what
much.
happened?
I won. I mean, no, he was
At
still
that
there.
point?
No, I mean he still had to
Yeah.
fight him at the end. And that last fight is hell. I mean, you're like zipping back and
Yeah.
forth, like having to like do like all this craziness. But I know I was level 12. I was a bard, and that was the nice thing too
Level
about being
12
able
is
to.
the max level you can get to in the game.
Yep, without I think they've made
So,
mods that let you. There are mods now that which are basically
oh
if you
really?
don't know what a mod is, it's just short for modification, and usually it's player made. I think there are mods that let you go higher level. I don't think like the official game lets you do that though. However, it's not really
No,
necessary. At level 12,
no.
I had
Mm.
God. I actually was able to keep. I didn't lose a single character. Like with as a bard, I had my charisma was jacked the hell up, so I was able to talk everyone and just working everything out. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I went the good path for Shadowheart. The God, who are the two god? There's two goddesses. Shit, I don't know. One of
I'm
them's the good
I'm really
goddess.
bad with names.
Yeah, one of
Yeah.
them's a good. I'm not.
Well,
I don't know
good
Forgotten
goddess of the
Realms.
moon or whatever, but
So
yeah.
yeah, Salune
Saloon.
and Sharn, or
Yeah, no, no, you're right. Yeah.
am I right?
Sharna's the evil one and
And
Saloon
Salune
is
is the good.
the good one.
Yeah, so I went the good
So,
route. I got Shadowheart to do the good stuff, I guess. I don't know. And then I also got Thief guy. What's his name? The vampire. I got him to.
Astarion.
Yeah, I got him to turn on his boss. Whoever the master vampire was, who's also in charge of the thieves
Yeah.
guild in Baldur's Gate. I don't remember his name either. But yeah, I was able to do the good. I think the good path for pretty much everyone, um,
Mm-mm.
which was fun. I was gonna try to do. You can do a dark urge path, which is I guess completely different from the game, but I never. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
One of
tough. It's a
my
game you got to commit
oldest
to. It's a game you got to
my
commit
oldest
to.
told me that he watched a video on YouTube of a guy who went through the game without doing any combat, and then when he got to the end, the final fight, so he had collected a ton of like
Oh, excuse me.
fire wine barrels and powder, smoke powder, and all
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff. And he sent one person up invisible, and then stacked all of these barrels as he was invisible around the elder, and just blew them up and won instantly. So, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try that. I was Shar, and you remember that devil that you got to fight in the Temple of Shar,
Yep.
and he's got all those minions. I uh, I went back to my camp and got all of the smoke powder or whatever fire wine barrels I get, turned invisible, and then went and was gonna and started. And I put one down, and they apparently fixed the game so you can't do that
Oh. Uh-huh.
because I suddenly was not invisible as soon as I put a barrel down. I was like, what the heck? I mean,
They
in
robbed
the
you.
Dungeons and Dragons game, if you use the invisibility spell, it only ends if you get to the. I think it lasts for like 10 minutes, or if you attack somebody, then you become visible. So I was like, I'm just putting a fire wine barrel down. I'm not attacking anyone.
Don't mind me.
It's like,
Actually, we had a friend argue. Actually, in our group, the group that we're currently in, we had a little argument about the invisibility. It was in Rollmaster, but the same principle. What he was trying to do though was he says, "I'm just gonna feed this guy a sandwich. Is that an attack?" And he's like, "I'm just feeding. I'm just putting a sandwich in his mouth. I'm not attacking him." And then they're like, there's this huge argument that probably took
mm.
2 hours and finally go through.
With our
They're
group,
like, they're
what?
like, I know that's a short argument for our group. Oh man, but yeah, there's this argument. He's like, no, I'm not attacking him. I'm helping him. I'm putting a sandwich in his mouth. That should not break invisibility. It was, I don't know. That was a funny moment. Like I said, just for
Yeah,
everyone out there who's not familiar, these type of arguments, these type of little debates, they happen all the time in the game, and they're
yeah,
part of the fun. I mean,
yeah.
it's the
But
immense
you
part.
got to be careful with them because we've both had experiences with people taking things personally,
Oh yeah, that's
and then it ends up in a few cases in our experiences it's ended games. And um, I remember being frustrated a few times because I was like really excited about how things had developed for the character I was playing in those games. And then suddenly I get a text or whatever. Oh, well, we're done. I'm like, what?
it
I just
sucks, but
in that in that game. I think did I run any games for Kotar, or was that a different rotating DM game that we
I
were
don't
playing?
remember you running any
It
games for
was the
them.
it was the one with the attorney in it that
No,
was
that was a
arguing that.
different. That was a different. No,
Okay,
I don't think I was.
so
I don't think I was in that game. I actually received
yeah,
the for fuck's sake the FFS email. I actually was not in that game. It was forwarded. That email was forwarded to me by
okay,
dude W.
so
Let's just call him W. 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 The attorney DM sent it to me, asking my opinion on it. I'm just like, I would just sometimes you just gotta like let things
yeah.
go, man. You can't just get all hyper.
Yeah, I mean, so the fight, and we've discussed this,
And
I
I
think,
wasn't
in
in that
previous
game though,
videos.
but I wasn't in that
So
game.
I was, so it had been my turn to run a game, and one of the characters couldn't make it, and so the attorney was like playing her character
Yep.
and said, "I want her to do this," and people were arguing over how the mechanics work, and I just said, you know what, the game has come to a complete stop. So as the dungeon master, I want to keep things going, which is part of what my job is as the dungeon master, right?
Yep.
So I said, I'm going to make a ruling and we're going to move on because really the what you're trying to do is inconsequential. It doesn't affect the story progression or anything, and we're stopping the whole game to argue this little minor detail. And so then, fast forward, I had passed the reins on to the next dungeon master, and we played a couple games, and I had given people a lot of cool abilities and stuff, and I was really excited to see how everything was going to work out. Um, and then I got the group email saying we're done or whatever, and I was like, what? The FFS email. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
FFS email or what it
That's
was,
that's
but
what I was forwarded. I don't know. Again, I'm not even. Again, I was not. I actually never played. I was not part of that game. Other than them sending me the email about it and asking. I mean, thing is too with that guy, we actually had played several. We've actually even played a Space Master. So Space Master is like the Roll Master equivalent of science fiction. He and I had
mm,
played in that game. He and I actually played in a bunch of games together. He was mostly, we'll just call him W. I don't want to. He is a lawyer, so I don't want him suing our asses if he's still alive. I mean, I don't know. He was kind of old when we were playing, probably 15 years ago or whatever it
I'll
was.
call him George W.
W. Well,
George
W.
W.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. All I could say was he was all right. Most, for the most part, he was an okay
Yeah,
guy.
he
I
was. He
mean,
was really nice. Really nice. I
yeah,
just I was like, why are we hung up on this
I know.
one?
It's
And he
just
was like, it's because we're setting a precedent. We got to follow the rules. And he's like, as an attorney, I think that's how he was thinking, you know. So
it's a weird person who not only is an attorney by day, but also is a game lawyer by night.
what what do we in role playing call somebody who like is like overly whatever
Rules
excited on
lawyer.
the rules?
Yeah, rules
Or
lawyer.
that or rule monger is
Rule
another
monger is another. Yeah,
word. Mhm.
kind of depends. I mean,
So
he was an okay. Don't get me wrong. He was an okay guy. I mean, I don't know. I was mostly fine with him. I mean, but
yeah, I
just
was too. One thing to think about for people who might be thinking about getting into a game or in a game, but maybe are a rule monger or something is, you know, what think about the so I think I read this somewhere. It's like so you have the rules in the game, right? But the intent of the game is to have fun, and if a it's the game master's right and responsibility to make sure people are having fun. And if they want to make an exception to a rule, then they can. That is, if it actually benefits the game, like in the case of what happened in that night where the game just come to a complete stop and everybody was arguing. It's like people aren't having fun. We're just arguing. So I made a ruling so we could move on. People had fun, and he just kept on going back to it. So,
well, it's the
well,
it's the
no,
two rules. So but you're right though. The absolute number one rule, because the thing is, you won't have any players if you don't follow this. Everyone should be having fun.
mm,
You should, when you do things, it should be for the enjoyment or betterment of the game. However, the other
mm,
rule comes into play, which is the dungeon master is always right and can override
mm,
anything. Now, in the 3 point, and I just bring it up because I love to bring this point up. In D&D 3.5, they actually had a DMG2. There was
oh
a
yes, they
second
did. I
book.
remember
Yeah,
that.
it was either page 5 or page 6 goes
That might be
over.
where I got that from. Yeah.
This is what they say DMs can thrive on the bureaucrat's most basic power, which is the power to say no. And so
Mm,
when a DM, some DMs, they're abusive, they're power hungry, they don't care if
mm,
anyone else is having fun. They will put their non-player character in the spotlight to the extent where they're basically playing themselves through the game. Every
mm,
other,
mm,
like the actual people playing then, are like now just they're just side characters. They're just the sidekicks to this main hero, which has nothing to do, and
Mm-hmm.
no one has fun with that. And we've had
Mm-hmm.
DMs, the power hungry DMs who only want to side with their own character and want to make things, or they just like saying no to people. They like to be really rough. I remember one time, God, and you know him as 1T, but we won't say anything else. We'll just say 1T. I was literally sitting there for it was over 2 hours of him discussing his own character and what was going on. And I said something, and he was like, "Oh, it's not even your turn. You don't even have blah blah." And I'm like, dude, I've been sitting for here for two
Mm-hmm.
hours and I haven't had a chance to do anything. What are we doing
Mm-hmm.
here? And eventually in that game he was voted out. He couldn't be DM anymore. He wasn't allowed to be. We
All right.
basically in no uncertain terms we told him he had one game to wrap things up. We're like we're done with you DMing, man. We don't like it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
enjoyable. You've gone well outside of what we allow anyone else to do. You know what? You're done, man. And you know what? He still he understood and he stayed with the game after that, though
Oh,
things
cool.
happened later.
Yeah.
Well, so there was I don't want to say that I was abusive, but I'm sure he probably thought of it that way. He had spent this time building his keep or whatever, right? He had
Mm-hmm.
this keep. His character was some kind of lord, and he had a castle like with some land and whatever, right? Well, fast forward to a game where he wasn't there. Someone used they had a ring of wishes, right? And they were
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we need like there was like this invading. We were in like this city, and there was like this invading army coming, and so they wished for that character's help. So as the DM, I twisted their wish, which is very. If anyone knows anything about the wish spell, that's actually what you're supposed to do. It's the
Yeah.
DM's privilege and right when you go outside of certain. There are some basic things wish can do that you don't
Mm-hmm.
twist, but if they wish for something that generic, so how I interpreted their wish was I put his keep right in the middle of that army that was invading.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
it was
Like, what?
it was a hilarious moment because everyone was just like, okay, you got him pretty good there because he was just like so hyped up about having his keep and everything. And I'm sorry, he was such a jackass to us in so many games. What an asshole! I mean, he was. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. The guy, he's good-hearted. I think he's mostly a
Yes.
good guy,
He's
but
got good intentions, and
they
he
just
loves people. He's been very helpful in a lot of situations,
yes,
but
but
no,
he had it coming in that game. I'm sorry.
did he?
He in that
Yeah.
just that specific game, he had it coming. I mean, I'm just sorry. And the
I
look
remember.
on the look on everyone's faces when that happened, because the player, she's like, oh yeah, we need help against this army. We wish that this character was here to help us, and just making his keep just appear in the middle of that army. I mean, it was just like, it was. I'm like, you just gave me the greatest gift that anyone in D&D has ever
Uh,
given me. A wish that I can twist to my. Sorry, maybe it's a little petty for me to say,
yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
how
Well,
I
I
felt.
won't say anything negative about him because he's a good friend of
I
mine.
don't.
But
I'm not saying something
uh,
negative about him. I'm just saying
yeah.
he's
Well,
been a
sure.
certain way, in games. He's been a certain way in
I,
games.
I
Let's just
I
say
do
that.
remember he got mad in one game we were playing. So the basis of the game was our characters. The gods weren't allowed to really interfere with mortals, but they found like a loophole where they could have like children with mortals that were like maybe a small percentage of deity, power.
Sure.
So we got like spell like abilities, and like my character could turn into a wraith, and if we killed other characters with the same like genealogy, or that maybe not the same genealogy, but like that were descendants of
Excuse
gods,
me.
we could absorb their powers. And and that was and we started I think in like the third edition Dungeons and Dragons, and then the Wheel of Time series, role playing books came out, and the our DM wanted to he transitioned us to that, just like we kind of teleported or
I love
somehow
the
got
books, by the
transported.
way. Robert Jordan, those
Yeah,
Robert Jordan's
yeah.
books. Yeah, I
I
actually
haven't read
own
the
most of them.
books.
But
I
They're great.
watched a little bit of the series on Prime, but anyways, in that well, anyways, I'm not going to go into like the details, but there was like this keep we wanted to get into, and he had the ability to turn invisible. I don't know if it was a spell or what. And if you remember in the Wheel of Time, like men casting spells,
Yep, there was
could
it was
drive them.
tainted. Yeah,
It could drive them mad.
yep. They
Um,
tainted the Satan, which was female side
yeah,
was good, but the male side was tainted by the dark one. I
yeah.
think Randall Thor
So
they eventually cleansed that ability. But anyways, sorry.
yeah. So there's this keep we wanted to get into or something. I don't remember, but he turned invisible and went inside. But the invisibility worked different in the Wheel of Time because more like kind of like if you remember like the Predator movies where they were like cloaked in
Oh,
their
like infrared,
invisibility, but
infrared.
you
Yeah,
you you could see you could kind of see the outline of them if
sure.
they moved, that kind of thing. Uh, at a distance, maybe it was very effective, but up close, maybe you could see it. I don't know. Anyways, so that I think it was kind of like that is how it worked because people saw him and
Hmm.
he got in trouble and he was so mad. He's like, "But I'm invisible," and but the DM's like, "Yeah, but it works different here, and you're a man. You're not a girl. You're a woman,
Should
whatever."
have played a
But
female. One T. No, sorry. One. No one else is gonna catch.
no,
No one else. No one else is gonna catch that reference. So I think we're safe to. Don't get me wrong. I've had a lot of good experiences with the guy. It was not always I'm making it more negative than it was. I actually enjoyed him on many levels. He was a smart. Well, he is. I shouldn't say is. I just haven't spoken to him in years. Ever since
yeah,
I moved to
I
the
haven't talked to
states.
him in
So
a while, but yeah, no,
yeah, I mean, I hope he's
I
well. I hope everything is going good for him. I mean, I don't. I wish nothing, negative on
yeah,
him. I mean,
no,
he's
and he's. I'm still on the. I was in a group with him a couple years ago, and then I just with everything going on in my life, I had something had to go. Just my cup was full and or overflowing of like too many things going on,
well.
and so I
I'm
was like,
I'm glad you
I
chose
have
our
to
group.
cut this out.
I'm glad you chose
Well,
our group because
our
we've
group
we've
is
faced.
digital, and I can just visit. I
Yeah,
can stay home, but I was driving over to the other side of St. Paul from where I was at, which was drive.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
like an hour drive and one way.
Sure.
So I ended up having to say, sorry guys, I just with all the stress and crap going on in my life, I just need to cut something out, and so I cut that out.
No,
And I'm
I hear
still,
you.
but I'm still in the group text. So they got us stuff going back and forth, and he's been very helpful with like people if they want to get minis for their character printed or whatever and painted, and he's does all that for everybody, and um, so I think genuinely he's a really helpful person, and we all have our flaws, so
Definitely. Yeah,
I
yeah. Don't get me
I
wrong.
can't complain.
And I
So
wish I wish nothing but good things for him. I mean, I
mhm.
have no animus towards him whatsoever. I mean, I hope he's doing well. I don't want anyone to take. Yes, I did get a gleeful, petty moment when I threw his keep in the middle of that army. But you know what? That doesn't mean I hate the guy. I really do wish good
You
things for
know,
him. So I
yeah,
I hope he's fine. I hope he's doing well. I mean, yeah. I mean,
and that
unless I move back to Minnesota, I doubt I'd ever see him again though, because I don't live there. And it's hard. I
it,
can't
it
just maintain relationships with everyone there. I mean, it's
and
impossible.
what and I think I can maybe relate to how he felt when maybe he found out about that because we were playing in a Star Wars game together,
Oh yes,
and
at our casino.
our we had a casino ship
That
that we
one
had just
player,
purchased.
one player walked up, broke
And
the glass. That was the end of it. Yeah, one
yeah,
action.
and it all when we lost it all, and then we lost our force abilities
Oh
at the
yes.
end of the game, and the game master's like, "So did you guys have fun?" I was like, "At the end, no." It's like I was building my character for all this, and I just lost it all. I hate that kind of stuff. When I'm watching a movie and that happens, I'm like, I hate this. I mean, of course, in like the movies, oh, it's so that they can have some character growth or something and do something.
Yeah.
But it was the end of the fucking game.
I know it didn't really take anything away from. Yeah,
It's like
it's
if
frustrating.
if you want us to have the opportunity to grow, don't do it at the end of the game.
Especially
But
not in that direction. Yeah.
so,
But all
but
right.
I mean,
But let's.
anyways, fun.
I was just gonna say. So we'll just kind of. We probably.
Yeah.
It's probably wrap up time on Dungeons and Dragons here. So, any final thoughts, words, pearls of wisdom you want
Um,
to give out here?
I think. Excuse me. I think role playing is a lot of fun because it's a good way to you get to escape life a little bit if you're like stressed out or whatever, or maybe you don't need to escape life, but it's still kind of fun because you get to participate in a story with friends and have a lot of fun. I remember one game I was playing it with our friend that we were just talking about. Uh, Pretty much everybody in the group, if something would remind us of a song, and they would just pull it up on YouTube and play it and just whatever, and we would just kind of have a laugh and just make jokes um, about stuff, and just it was a lot of fun. You order food and eat together. It really, I think what role playing is just an opportunity for us to come together and have some fun with some friends and maybe family. I played some games with one of my older brothers a few times. I've run some games with my two boys. Excuse me, and they really liked it. I based it off of which is an which is an anime. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they were really into it. So I kind of built a game around it, and excuse me, and it's a I think it's a great opportunity to really to just kind of connect with people in a way that maybe different than just going bowling or to the movies or hanging out. Or I don't feel at a backyard barbecue. It's just another way to connect.
Definitely.
So
I couldn't agree more. It's definitely, and it's one of the best ways to connect because it allows you sort of a creative outlet that is also shared. It's not just you're creative on your own. You're creating with a group of friends, and it
yeah.
is fun, and it is like a great opportunity.
Mhm. Yeah, we
But
said the dungeon master has like the control or whatever, but really they maybe come up with a story idea, but when you get together with a group of friends, you're writing the story.
yeah,
And for somebody like me, I'm a writer. I love to be creative, and it's just a lot of fun to be able to get together with friends, and also for me with all because I've had a lot of life issue changes, whatever going on over the last 5 years. It's been a way to also help um, de-stress,
sure.
and
Take you
add
out
some
of that.
positive
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
take you out of that
I
environment. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know where I would be right now if I didn't have my group of friends with like you and the other guys that we play with, and the group with 1T that I played with for a few years.
Right.
That was a great support system for me with all the depression and stuff I was dealing with. So, or still am in a
Well,
lot of ways. But
we've got a lot of years in front of us, so we're gonna
yeah,
keep playing.
hopefully, right?
All right.
But
On that note, we'll probably call it a show. So again, if you haven't already, like, dislike, share, comment. Do your thing.
subscribe.
Yep, subscribe. Even more, most important, subscribe. Do your thing. That's what let us. That's what allows us to do our thing. But all right. On that note, I will say good night. Good night.
Good night.